Hi, my name is Janell, and I am a thought healer. I am glad to be here with you. I'm excited to be here with you to talk about the different layers outside of our body that are so part of us, more or as important as knowing who you are physically. It's important to know who you are energetically. So let's start peeking into that together to understand the influence that this part of us has on who we are and how we navigate, how we think, how do we interpret the world around us. Understanding who we are physically and energetically, it helps us take a look, it helps us unravel what it was like for us growing up as a child, adolescence, early 20s, and depending on your age right now, 30s, 40s. I look back at my life. I'm an intuitive and I'm highly empathic. When I was a child, it was so normal. You don't even think that anything's different. This is just your normal. I connected with animals. That was my space where my empathic gifts just clicked. When I grew into school age, 6, 7, 8, now I'm in a world of humans. So I grew up very rurally. I was blessed to grow up in the mountains. So there was a lot of wildlife there every day. People now I'm afraid a little bit more, right? Back then it was just so natural. The cougars, the bobcats, the deer, the elk, the moose, it was all very normal. And then we had horses and cats and bunnies and, all the sheep later on. Just such a natural space for me. But like I was saying, I got into the school world and now it's the world of humans. So it's language. And I have an auditory processing disorder that I understand now. And I'm dyslexic. And so this world became very, very confusing and overwhelming, like crazy overwhelming. When you're highly empathic, you feel, you navigate through a sense of feel. Well, when there is a lot to feel, because everybody that's moving, everything that is alive, puts off an energetic feeling. Their thoughts have an emotion involved in them. And as you have an emotion, that energy radiates from the physical body. Your empathic gifts, my empathic gifts, pick that up and you pick it all up. And when I was young, I did not know how to differentiate between what is mine and what is theirs. And how do you separate that? Well, how do you? Because maybe that's still a place that's causing you confusion, and that's okay. No guilt, no shame, no judgment right now. Let's understand that together. Let's understand that. You've got 3 energetic rings, spheres around you. The closest one to you is the space that if you stuck your arm straight out and you went out and up above, that's about the distance that it is. That is your inner, that is your inner auric field, your electromagnetic field. It is directly connected to your body. The energy that your body creates through its different functions, your muscle function, your neurological function, your digestion function, your heart, etc., every function. It is represented in the color spheres, circles that go around you in this first layer. Everything puts its energy signal, creates an energy signal, and some are gifted to see that frequency in color because color has a frequency. Look at the light spectrum and the science behind that. And you can see that each color, you can separate it out with a prism, and each one has a frequency. Well, your body generates a frequency that your eyes can interpret, or your heart, it depends on how you feel, will interpret or can interpret it as a color. It matches that frequency. Your brain goes, oh, I know that frequency. That's yellow. That's green. That will be found in this first space. Okay, cool. Then you go to the second space. That is a second ring around you. It's bigger. It fills up the space that you live, your home, your workspace, everything that's connected to you in your space you live in is this second ring. You will feel everything that is in that second ring. So when you walk into a room, and you may be able to relate to this, because I've walked into different rooms and I've went, whoa, I'm not sure I want to be a part of what's going on in here. And you'll want to leave. Why? Because that outer ring picks up what is being felt from others. This personal space radiates into this first ring. Your emotion goes through that and into the second ring. So you walk in and you can feel and pick up, and your body knows, it can interpret that frequency and say that is anger, that is happiness, that is, name an emotion, joy, that's excitement. You walk into a room and people have been happy, they've been partying, it's a birthday party, it's whatever, a graduation celebration, a wedding, and people are excited and warm and happy, and you feel that when you walk in. Or if it's something deceitful, something scary, you pick up on that. Then you have a third layer that's even that you cannot measure the boundaries to that circle, to that space. It is attached or connected to your mind space and your heart space. So everything that is created and imagined is in that big space. Things that are happening in your world, what we go through as a nation, what we go through as a world, what the animals go through, what the some of you are even tapped into, what are the trees and the green life, what is it going through? Some of you will be feeling that. And as you feel that, it comes on through into you, and it will feel like possibly you're feeling. It can feel overwhelming. It can cause depression. It can cause anxiety. It can cause a sense of total insecurity, like your foundation is being removed from you. We as a country, just or the world, just went through the pandemic, and the feelings of fear, the unknown, and now we are seeing so many who are seeking mental health support. Why? Because our outer field felt that trauma, and it is a frequency. Trauma is attached to emotion, fear, uncertainty, and that is a frequency, and that frequency comes into us. Now, fear, anxieties, shame, guilt, those are very low frequencies. Joy, hope, gratitude, love are super duper high frequencies. The low frequencies, when they come into our field, they influence how we feel. They influence our vibration. They influence our thought, because it's a frequency, and it creates thoughts in our head. We don't know that they're not ours. Often we do not know. But if it happens and we're exposed to it over a long period of time, it creates those thoughts and feelings, and we adopt them as ours. Wow. When I realized that, so I went through this first, second, third grade completely overwhelmed, and I shut all that down, because I'm like, this is so scary, and I didn't know exactly through the mind of a child what was going on. Many of us don't. It was later on in my early 20s, mid 20s, that as I was, and many of you know my story, but I was a horse trainer at that time, one of the hats I've worn in my learning journey, and love horse training, always will be a horse trainer. So, but I was a professional horse trainer at that time, and I was attracting outlaw horses. And outlaw means that is a word given for those that are aggressively acting out towards their humans. And so I was attracting that. And I would free move them in my indoor arena and I would watch them move. And I'm like, oh, wow, you are biomechanically off. Well, that's my gift in dyslexia. I have all these beautiful images in my head, bazillions of them. And I can look at a horse and watch them move, and I overlay the biomechanically correct movement over that horse that's physically in my arena, and I can see what's not working. And I'm like, oh, that's off, and that's off, and that's off. I got curious, and so I started working with a vet who had studied Eastern medicine, so acupuncture and herbs, and a horse chiropractor, and a gal that did body work on animals, not just horses, animals. She was an energy worker. Those three ladies became my mentors, and we worked on these horses, getting them out of pain. Well, once you're out of pain, the aggression, they were just frustrated. Okay. And once we took the pain out, they were like some of the most athletic, smartest animals that I've ever worked with. And the gift they gave me back was they reactivated my intuitive gifts. And then this is over 20 years ago, I began to study with my three mentors, and the horses were activating me and reopening of these gifts. So sidebar, that's why I bring my clients to the horses virtually or in person, and we work with the horses or they work with us, because they are so brilliant at helping us unlock who we really are, what we've shut down for the different reasons, the different traumas that we didn't understand. They help us reconnect to. It is so, so cool. I mean, it changed my life. It gave me my life back. The horses did. I mean, I'm just forever grateful. And I get teary when I think about it, because it changed my life. It gave my life back. So understanding who we are physically and who we are energetically is key to working with who we really are. So these three spheres that are us, they're just as much us as this physical person right here with you in this video. It's just as much us. So how do we work with that? How do we start to understand what's me and what isn't me? That's the $1 million question right there. But we know how. I know how to get you there. I know how to get there myself. That was part of my journey work. So I created a very simple system to walk others through to help you really identify what's me, what isn't me. Okay. So I want to share with you, now that we're aware that we have these three spaces, I want to give you a couple of my favorite clearing meditations that work amazingly well, that allow you to separate out, clear out what isn't you, and just fill yourself and your fields up with you. Now, if you find this challenging, or you still get overwhelmed, often we have some emotional blocks that keep us from really connecting, because what you're asking your body and your energetic body to do is to unite. But there's different traumas. Like when I was that little gal, experienced that incredible confusion and fear and overwhelm in that, 6, 7, 8 years old. Why did I shut down? As a self-protection, because I didn't understand it. Well, that shutdown is a block. And all the energy and the confusion and pain that I was experiencing during that time in my life stored in my body, and it separated me. It's a block. We need to get those blocks, find them, love them, do what we need to do. There's a process we walk through that help heal, transmute, let go, so that we can connect to who we are. And when we connect to who we authentically are, then we connect and understand and work successfully and powerfully in these three spaces, manifesting your life. For example, key, block removal, understand, how do I work within these three spaces that are genuinely me? What influences these? There's some influencers. One I've been mentioning, the mindset, like the largest sphere that we have around us, the thoughts and the general public feeling influences this in a huge way, but also pollution, chemicals. Also closer to home would be what we're eating. How are we active in a way that supports your body, eating in a way that supports your body. I'm not here to promote anyone's style. That's between you and your healthcare provider. But there are things like the eating and exercise and our exposure to toxins, the air, the water, what we're putting in our body, that definitely influence the frequency and how well we are functioning energetically, how well are we, no, keep it that simple, functioning energetically. So helping us stay at a higher vibration helps us be more optimistic, helps us see solutions, helps us be problem solvers, helps us make decisions faster, helps us be us in a, not in a let's work harder at being us, but more in a flow. And that's what we're after. Let's be in flow. It's so much easier. So these influencers, we need to be aware of them, because then we can regulate our exposure to them. The people we let into our inner circle, they talk to us about their lives. Is it always now we're going to support each other, right? People come in, my good friends come in and they're going through a loss in their family, or they're frustrated, just life stuff. That's one thing, right? Where we can help each other and support each other and speak life into each other. But if there's somebody in your life, in my life, that is always has a down button, and every time you're with them, it's just like, oh my gosh, you feel so heavy because they're just on this very low vibrating, the language and their thought process and their actions and everything. We need to clean house lovingly. We need to be aware of, does that really support you? Does that really support me? Okay. Advocate for yourself. Clean out what is negative. Sometimes I lovingly say, I love you, but that I don't need to hear. That does not help me. There's just times to be discerning on what you allow into your personal space. And so, friends, where do I go? What music do I listen to? What do I watch on TV? Do I feel better, uplifted, energetic, higher vibe when I walk out of that movie theater or I finish a show? Or do I feel like, ugh, like you got to clean house because what you just saw, felt, the energy coming out of there, it influenced me. It influenced you. Be aware of these things, because those simple changes help us stay in a more positive state, which in general, in every aspect of our lives, is good, is beneficial. But think about it as the collective. If I'm focusing on how I am and energetically, being aware, clearing, doing clearings, being aware of what am I watching, all these things we're talking about, then I am in general a higher vibration. So it goes out into my field. So if we are as a group raising our vibration, we as a group are raising the collective's vibration. If we really want to support and see change for the good in our communities and our homes, so let's start in the home, myself, my home, my workplace, my community, my state, my country, my world, then it begins with being conscious of where I'm at energetically and doing the work, loving myself, everything that we're talking about. And then there's more we can even do. But it's huge. And I just think it's such a cool way that we can share and support the world in love. There you go. I love it. So let's get into it. I want to give you one of my favorite clearings. There's 3 of them that we're going to do. So the first one, I like to connect to ground. So I close my eyes for everything. You don't have to, whatever works for you. And I connect to a higher power. You do what works for you. I believe in divine energy. You work with what resonates with you, your higher self, the universe, God, what works and makes sense to you and feels like that's your truth. That's what you do. All right, so I'm going to connect to ground. Deep breath in. Nice. Now, We're going to take 3 deep breaths together. So I invite you to just find ground. Connect to ground with your intention. Take a deep breath in. Again, deep breath in. One more time. Now, I'm just going to imagine the first space around us and invite divine, use the language that resonates with you, divine, higher self, the universe, God, the purest love source, to come and cut. Now I visualize cords. You may see bubbles, you may see water washing it away. Do what works for you. There is no rule. I'll just give a suggestion and you do what works for you. That divine light comes and just cuts any cord, all and any energy that is stuck to your inner energetic field that doesn't belong to you. Allow it and send it up into the creator energy space to be cleared, or down into the love energy of the earth to be cleared. Sometimes it just wants to go back to its owner. We allow it to go with love, no judgment, and allow it to go. Let that love energy, if it wants to swirl in your field, to clear it. If you want to see it in bubbles leaving, washed with water, whatever seems right to you. Breathing in, exhale slowly. Beautiful. Go to your next layer and do the same. Let the love light clear anything within that field that is not yours. It can be water, wind, blowing bubbles, cut cords. We'll go up, send it up to be cleared, down to be cleared, into the earth to be lovingly healed and really cleared, or back to its owner with love. We don't need to understand it. We just need to set the intention and let it go. Well done. Mine wants to swirl in my field. You may feel it. You may see colors. You may have the intention and it's done. All is right. Whatever works for you. Breathing in through your nose. Out through your mouth. And when you feel it is cleared, reconnect to your inner field and then reconnect to ground. Remember to keep breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. Take as long as you need. If you want to pause this video, you can if you need a little longer. Next, reach into the third, set your intention to clear the third field, your third energy field, the largest one. And just set the intention that any energy that does not belong to you just be released, wrapped in love, released back into its owner as a healed, loved energy, back into God's hands, your divine energy source's hands to be cleared, into the earth's loving energy to be cleared wherever it needs to go. But stay in your body. Just set the intention that it is cleared. Stay in your body and just let it go through your body, through your intention, to that outer field to be cleared. It may want to have color. It may want to have a feeling. It may want to have an intent. Just the intention. Just go with what's right for you. Now bring it back into yourself, breathing in, back into ground, to be ground this truth, ground you, Now, the second thing that I love to do while we're in this space is I like to ask that I have love shields around each of these layers, that I am and love is holding space and vibrating love, so that I am allowed to just filter. The intention is that this filters out anything that I don't need to be aware of, and I'm putting love into everything that I touch, physically and energetically. You may see a color, you may see many colors, you may feel, you may be in setting the intention, and it is these love shields and energy support shields with your intention are there. The third thing I like to do is I like to then balance me. I like to ask that all my chakras be spinning the same direction, be the same size. They're a circular sphere, so there's a kind of cone thing. Just allow them to be the same size, spinning the same direction. And if there's anything in them that does not belong to me, allow it to be released into the healing love of the divine, in the wave in the highest realms, or into the love of the earth, to be cleared or back to its original owner, cleared and loved. Bringing it through your nose, out through your mouth, round when you're ready. In through your nose. And when you're ready, just open your eyes. Those are my 3 favorite reset, clear, and support me, my energetic self and my physical self. And you'll begin to become aware of when something comes into your field that doesn't belong to you. When that happens, just lovingly let it go. Send it. If you use your own love, you'll exhaust yourself. So set the intention to be a source of just a channel for that pure love, and let it go. Okay, if you have more questions, or if you get stuck, just reach out and I will walk you through it. Blessings to you, and thank you for joining me in just raising your own vibration and being part of raising the vibration of the collective.